when I realized that I wanted to write stories, I knew that I needed to study. A lot of it I was just going by intuition, and I knew that could only get me so far. If I was lucky with the first book, that's catching lightning in a bottle, but you can only do that once, you know. And that's pretty much what happened with the first book. I had no idea what I was doing, but just went for it anyway. So after that, I started learning how to write. And the only course I could get onto, or any kind of education system that involved writing, was one for children's books. And I was like, screw it, I've got to do it anyway, you know. And that helped. That definitely helped a bit. But that was a strange part of the journey that I didn't see coming. And then I had another phone call from a guy who was like, look, this is a really weird request, but you make comics, don't you? And I was like, yes, I do. Is this a publisher? And it was actually a film director who was like, look, I'm in your town where you live, and I'm in the midst of making a zombie movie, but most of the people we've hired to have zombies, they can't be zombies anymore. Like, and we need, because it was all set in a convention, like a zombie breakout at a convention. He was like, the fact that you create comics as well, that'd be even better. Like, we can have you as your human self being one of the guests at the convention, and then we can have you later on being one of the zombies. So I got to be in a zombie movie for a little bit because of that. And it was a roller coaster ride like that for so much of my career. And then it hit about, this is about 2013. And I was asked to appear at a convention in Germany. So I flew over to Dortmund in Germany, and it was this big horror convention, but it also had like rock and metal music, and it had wrestling and some comic stuff and all that. And it was done in these two halls that were next to each other. And in one hall, they had all the comic guests and wrestlers and stuff. And in the other hall, you had all the musicians and the film stars and TV stars. So I turned up there thinking, right, I'm going to be in this hall with all the other comic guests. And the organizer came along and said, no, you're in the opposite hall. And I was like, okay, this is a bit weird, but, you know, I'll go with it. And like, I remember sitting down at my table and going, right, I need to settle up my books and all that. And then the paparazzi came in and they started taking photos. And I was like, you're not here for me. I know that you're not here for me. Who are you here for? And it was the lead singer of the band, Lordi, who a few years back had won the Eurovision Song Contest. He sits down next to me. He's like, hey, how you doing? And next to him is one of the guys from Kiss. Opposite me is a guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really out of my league here. What's going on? And didn't really think much of it until the end of the convention. Like, I'd hung around with loads of the other guests and stuff, and the organizer came over to me, and he was like in a bit of a mess, and he was like, I've been looking for you everywhere. And I was like, why? The convention's over. And he was like, did no one tell you that it's also an award ceremony? And I was like, no. And he was like, well, it is. And you've won this kind of thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And that kind of changed things a little